Hi everyone, welcome back to In the Little Things. I am Natafia Caesar and I'm glad you can join me today for another very important little lesson of mine. So stay tuned and be blessed. Hi family, today you are in for a treat, for my lesson will come to you in the form of a poem, Free by My Captivity. How could this be? I left my home country for dwelling in a strange city. By force, they cruelly led me, trying to convince me that this is all I would amount to be. Just imagine me, working on a plantation and tilling the ground for free. Could this be fair for a queen like me? Every day I woke up to the sad reality, to the seeming possibility that this is all my life will ever be. From forced labor to giving up my pride and purity to a man who looked on me with scorn and would never marry me. The torture and torment was an utter atrocity, and yet they looked on with not a care or an eye of mercy. It was harder still for me to be brutally separated from my family, not knowing wherein lies my destiny. Will I one day be free? Is this sad, really? Then think about the plan to redeem sinful humanity. He grew and served in his community, giving up his divinity to mingle with an ungrateful humanity. Then one day they pronounced him guilty just for loving and showing mercy to every individual and family. They gave him a cross and told him to walk to Calvary. On he went, bleeding as he dutifully reflected on the Garden of Gethsemane. Let this cup pass from me. Separated from his family and pained like as humanity, one thing on his mind, salvation full and free. Sitting here in my corner, a slave by my captivity, impressed upon my heart, in Jesus I am free. Now, I don't know about you, but this poem brings to my mind a very important lesson. You see, the enemy of our souls, the devil, Satan, the dragon, that old serpent, he has long kept us in the bonds of sin, being slaves to him and being held captive to these sinful tendencies and our sinful lives that we have not, and many of us have not experienced the freedom in Christ that is offered to us. See, Satan desires to keep us bound. He delights and he is happy when we are kept locked and held in our sinful lives and sinful situations that we cannot experience Christ. But we have hope and we have the assurance, the blessed assurance, I dare say, of freedom in Christ because of his great sacrifice. You see, he went all the way to Calvary for you and for me, that we can experience the joy of salvation. And my friends, I tell you, it's the greatest thing to give your life to Christ, to accept Christ's life and to live abundantly and to live free from sin and self and worldliness and everything that the devil has put to ensnare us. Through Christ, we can be free from them. And God delights and he desires us to experience this freedom. So I trust that as you listen to this poem, that it was a blessing to you and that indeed that you will decide today to accept that great sacrifice that Christ has made on our behalf, that we can all come to experience salvation full and free. It was freely done for us and we freely accept it, and we will freely live abundant lives if we take hold of Christ and what he has done for us. So I trust that you will share this video with your friends and family, and also know that whatever situation you may be in, whatever difficulty you may be facing, and you feel trapped and it seems like the situation is not getting better, you feel pushed against the wall and you feel as though you're being held captive in that situation, in that sinful life, just know that Christ is right there. And if we just take hold of Him, then freedom and salvation is ours, because He has promised that if we come to Him, if we open the door of our hearts where He's standing knocking, He will come in and He will sup with us, and we're going to experience that peace and that freedom and that happiness and all the joy that comes with knowing Him and living abundant, free lives in Christ. And I know that there are many times that we often think that we are going through so many bad things and there's nothing worse that can happen to us. And we look at our situations as so hard and so horrible and, the worst thing that can ever befall us. When, if we look at Christ's life and His example and His sacrifice, we see that there's nothing that can compare to the agony, to the hurt, to the pain, to the suffering that He went through that we might be saved. So, though our situations in life may be hard to us because of sin, and we cannot of our feeble frames bear much of these things, through Christ we can, because He has borne it all. And He has left us a great example and a great privilege of coming to know Him, to experience all that He has made possible for us to experience. So I pray that God will keep us and that we will truly experience freedom in Christ, in God, and not be held captive and kept bound as slaves to sin any longer, but we need to be liberated. Christ has died that it will be possible for us to be free from sin and free from the bonds of Satan and the snares that he has set for our souls. So may God help us, each and every one of us, and our friends and families, to experience freedom in Him. Romans 7:23 says, "But I see another law in my members, warring against the law of my mind, and bringing me into captivity to the law of sin, which is in my members." Also, John 8:36 says, "If the Son therefore shall make you free, ye shall be free indeed." So, though there is war raging and the enemy wants to keep us bound to sin, when we come to Christ and we are set free, we shall be free completely, thoroughly, and eternally. May God help us and bless us as we continue to live and grow and flourish in the knowledge of Him.